On January 13th, 2021, President Donald Trump was impeached for a second time, despite having only about a week left in his administration. This makes him the only president to ever be impeached twice, which is punishment by the elected Democrats for Trump having the audacity to beat Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. And no, they've never let it go, although they do seem to have forgotten about their attitudes around it. See, back in 2016, President Donald Trump legitimately beat Hillary Clinton in the presidential election, and Democrats lost their minds over this issue. In fact, forwarding for the next 4 years a conspiracy called Russiagate, in which Donald Trump somehow convinced Vladimir Putin to intervene in the 2016 election on behalf of Donald Trump. This is the Russiagate conspiracy. It had a dossier purchased by Hillary Clinton from a guy named Chris Steele. Yes, that's right. Hillary Clinton and the Democrats purchased a foreign agent's dossier to interfere with the 2016 presidential election. Let no one ever forget that what they accused Donald Trump of doing, they actually did. And after that, they used this dossier to justify the appointment of a special counsel and an investigation of the president and his campaign for collusion with Russia. An investigation that took over a year, cost millions of dollars, and ultimately produced nothing of the sort. That's right, nothing of the sort. But Democrats have never really let that go. After all, it was her time. And how dare Donald Trump come in and defeat her in a legitimate election? But now Donald Trump has been impeached for the second time, and this time it's for incitement to insurrection related to the January 6th Capitol Hill protest, in which protesters stormed the Capitol building. They are blaming this squarely on Donald Trump, who urged protesters to march to the Capitol peacefully so their voices could be heard while the Electoral College votes were read and challenged by Republicans in the House and Senate. As for Donald Trump, his approach to the impeachment is apparently bring it on. According to Peter Navarro, which is the White House trade advisor and a strategist for Donald Trump, who has been putting out reports on election irregularities, Donald Trump intends to utilize alternate TV, or suggested maybe alternate media, to go ahead and combat the impeachment, both legally through the impeachment process, but also in the media by using it as a platform and opportunity to show receipts about his claims of election irregularities in the 2020 election. That is Peter Navarro's suggestion on what Donald Trump may do. Now, the way he words it suggests that Trump might be working on his own TV or media station, something that has been hinted by President Donald Trump in tweets before his Twitter account was nuked by Jack Dorsey being scared. That being said, this is interesting news, and we will see what happens with it as the impeachment proceedings go on. But I want to use this as an opportunity to talk about those impeachment proceedings, because this is a strange place in history, because we have a president whose impeachment hearings will not occur while he is in office. And that has never really happened before. And we have to ask why they're doing this, and we will do that. But what I want you to do is drop comments down below. What do you think about this impeachment of Donald Trump? Is it justified? Is it a waste of time? Is it a distraction? Should they just leave the man alone, or should they put him into the ground? I always love reading your comments down below and engaging with them when I can. That being said, let's move on and talk about this impeachment, because it is weird in history to hear a president's impeachment after he's out of office. And so the first question is, can the Senate do this? Can the Senate actually have the trial for the impeachment and removal of Donald Trump from office after he's already out of office? And the answer to that question is maybe, probably, kind of. We don't really know, but the mechanism for challenging the impeachment power is very limited. The courts have been unwilling to generally step in and tell Congress what their impeachment power is, because it's so broad under the Constitution. So I think the safe answer to this is they probably can hear it. So what are the options that'll be raised during this impeachment? because now they're talking about waiting until 100 days after Joe Biden takes office to hear this impeachment. So why would they do this is the first question. Why have the hearing anyway? You've made the impeachment. You might as well just let it go. Well, the idea comes down to this second part of the impeachment vote. So the first part of impeachment requires 67 members of Congress, or technically 2/3 of Congress once they have a quorum, to go ahead and vote for the impeachment. And if they do, the president is removed from office. This would necessitate approximately 17 Republicans switching sides to go against Donald Trump. Now, I think the Democrats' goal here is that by waiting 100 days and having Joe Biden in office, that the favor between Donald Trump and the president will further, by Donald Trump and the Republicans who are elected, will further erode, and they will find 17 willing turncoats. That's the idea, I think. And anyone who is thinking about this really needs to consider the reasoning that the Democrats have for this. They want to convince you that the patriotic and good thing to do is to go against Donald Trump, but they will still hate you afterwards. They're not going to suddenly think that you're a good congressman or a good senator if you do this. This is not how Democrats have ever actually functioned. They want to convince you that this is the right thing to do, but they don't actually change their opinion of you, and there is no cookie reward at the end. So I would caution Senate Republicans from thinking that you're going to have some sort of clout or power with Democrats. What they want to do is divide the Republican base against itself. This is the entire goal. It's been what they've been gleefully talking about Trump doing, but it's what they want to happen. So convincing Republicans to vote against a Republican who's already out of office serves no purpose other than to divide the Republican base against itself. And this second part, if they can vote on the removal, even though he'll already be out, it is still the first stage of the vote, then they can change to a simple majority vote in the Senate to prevent Donald Trump from ever holding any office or position of trust with the United States ever again. And this is truly the goal of the Democrats. It is to punish Trump as being the only president to be prevented from running a second time. Everything they're doing to Donald Trump, they want it to be a first because they want him to be the worst. So, can they actually do that? And again, there's nothing saying they can't. They've done this before to federal judges, but they've never done it to a president. So it's an open question over whether or not they can subvert a future electoral potentiality where Donald Trump would run again in 2024 and theoretically win. That is, of course, something that has been talked about by Republicans, is that Donald Trump will come back and win in 2024. And the Democrats impeaching him now, winning on the impeachment, and then having a subsequent simple majority vote, which wouldn't require any Republican support, because they could get a tie and Kamala Harris would cast the deciding vote. If they were able to do that, then he would be prevented from running for or holding any office or position with the United States ever again. And again, that is part of the goal here. So the question, though, still remains, can they actually try a president who is no longer sitting? And it leads to one of the first things that will happen, which will be a motion to dismiss. The Republican representative for Donald Trump will likely bring a motion to dismiss the impeachment as moot or due to laches, right? He's already out of office. There's no reason for them to impeach him to remove him from office. And of course, the argument would be that second portion of the impeachment necessitates that they go ahead and have the hearing anyway. But the idea would be to dismiss this. And in a regular court case, this likely would result in some sort of dismissal. There's no chance of this. They've already achieved the result of removing him from office through the Electoral College, and Joe Biden will likely be inaugurated on January 20th. So in theory, this impeachment should be moot and probably under regular court circumstances would be dismissed. But impeachment is a political proceeding, not necessarily a legal one. And so there is something to be said about them expressing their political will and power and imposing that on Donald Trump, even though he is out of office and they've already achieved what is ostensibly the primary goal of impeachment. So, final talk is, what is incitement to insurrection, the charge on the impeachment? The idea is they are saying Donald Trump's words on January 6th led to the quote-unquote insurrection where protesters stormed the Capitol building. This is a weak and thin legal claim. However, impeachment isn't about legality. Donald Trump's speech has no element of incitement in it. Incitement contains two major elements following the landmark decision of Brandenburg versus Ohio in the Supreme Court. And those two elements are, first, an actual invitation, encouragement, or induction to commit a crime. The speaker has to demand that the listeners commit a crime. And then the second part is there has to be an imminent possibility or imminent danger for the crime to actually take place. The crime that was advocated, not some other crime. And interestingly, just because something does happen doesn't mean that there was imminent danger that it would happen. So this is to prevent a bad actor from, say, listening to a speaker that they don't like and then going to commit the crime and then blaming it on the speaker. That doesn't really work because that's a backwards way to approach criminal liability, right? So the idea is you have to invite them to commit a crime, something Donald Trump didn't actually do. They cite him saying stuff like fight like hell, but that is an idiom. That doesn't actually mean to go literally, physically fist fight someone. And it's something that Donald Trump has said in multitudes of other contexts, both before and after becoming president, and none of them having to do with physical violence at all. He suggested that protesters march peacefully over to the Capitol building where their voices could be heard while the electoral votes were being counted and challenged by Republicans in the House and Senate. So there is no criminal act that Donald Trump is asking anyone to do. And the imminent danger test starts to lose its weight when you find out that the Capitol was breached before Donald Trump's speech had ended, and he was also a mile and a half away at the White House, which would mean that the protesters at the White House would have to march a mile and a half to the Capitol building, which would take quite a bit of time. Walking speed for normal people, probably around 20 to 25 minutes. So it would be very difficult for Donald Trump to have legally incited an insurrection. However, one more time, impeachment is not a legal process that relies on criminal statutes and criminality. It is a political process. And so what they will do is argue that his words and tweets and talk about election irregularities all made him to a point where he, quote unquote, should have known better. And that is incitement in their eyes. Remember, this process is designed to punish Donald Trump by the Democrats who have defeated the Republican majority in the Senate, and they have won the presidency. Now they must punish Donald Trump ultimately for winning in 2016. Hey, if you like this type of commentary and analysis, please hit like, subscribe, share it around to your friends, and drop a comment below and tell me what you think. If you don't like it, then tell me I'm terrible. We'll talk soon. Hey, peace be with you.